Hello, this is Mrs. Hasten here again. I am explaining the week 2 gathering your data. So, option 1 is do a survey. Make sure that you are able to tell each individual's answer to both of your questions. So that's very important. You can't just do two separate surveys with two different questions because then you won't be able to organize it into a two-way table. So for the sake of our argument here, remember I'm talking about is the state that you live in related to your favorite sport. So I used the website Census at School, and I decided to just get data from Texas and New York. If I can spell, there we go, I can find it. And because y'all are seniors, mostly seniors anyway, I wanted to know about seniors, but you can do all grades, you could do just high school. But make sure that if you are using Census at School, that the wording of your question kind of explains what you're using for your data. I used both males and females here, and I got this from all years, I believe. Once you push submit, mm, you got to pick a sample size. I picked 100. I felt like 100 would be enough to meet my large counts condition. And submit. Talk about conditions here in a second. And then you can download your data. I've already done this. I got an Excel sheet, and oh my gosh, Census at School has collected so much data. In fact, I kind of started with this to see what they even had, and then I knew like what kind of questions I could possibly ask. Okay, I've already gone ahead and saved as a Google Sheet. So this one. Here's my Google Sheet. I've already deleted the columns that I don't need, okay? So next thing I wanna show you is using your sheets. Now, you'll need to use Sheets or Excel, whether you got survey data and you'll put in all your individuals, or whether you got an existing data set. So this is where everyone should be watching. Okay, so you can sort. The cool thing here is I need to sort my range. Now it has a header row. I don't want it to mix in the words country, region, and favorite physical activity with all of the other data. I want that to stay as the header. And I want to sort by region first. And then I want to add another sort column and then sort by favorite physical activity. This is going to make it so much easier for me to count. Okay, now that it's sorted, just athletics, I don't really that doesn't really fit the data that I wanted. So you want to be careful, and I would explain this in my final product of like why I got rid of data. So I wouldn't just delete it. I would maybe do strike through, or just kind of ignore it. But I would do something like that, so that at the end you can go back and say like, oh, I got these pieces of data that didn't exactly answer the question. I think there might also be someone here that have put none or other, or even just left it blank. So I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do to deal with that. It's very important as a statistician that I'm not ignoring these people just because they don't fit what I thought in my hypothesis. I am throwing them out because they didn't actually answer the question. Okay, and then you're going to do your count. So you need to count how many people were in New York. Well, for me, how many people were in New York, how many people were in Texas. So you need to count the answers to your first question. You need to count the answers to your second question. Those are going to be your total columns. Then you also need to know how many people liked, for example, baseball and softball just from New York. Okay, that would be 2. Then we have basketball. That's 3 from New York. Bowling, I might decide to throw that out or leave it in. It's kind of your choice there. And then here's what I was really interested in was the football. So there was only 1 from New York, so that's interesting. You could also instead of throwing this bowling person out, you could just mix that in with the other people. You won't be doing physical activity exactly, but for whatever you decide to do, if the data you get back doesn't fit perfectly, that's kind of how life and data is anyway. So we kind of have to sort, and that's part of organizing the data. And then look at that for Texas footballs. So interesting. We'll see if that's statistically significant or not. Okay, I'm back here. See if I can hide that. Okay, I've gone to Statlet.com and going to 2 categorical variables. I have, for my explanatory, I believe that, well, it doesn't matter so much for this, but anyway, this is going to be a region, or I guess I should say state. So we've got Texas, New York. The response was sport. And I want to know about football. I want to know about baseball / softball. You can add another one. Lacrosse. Is that how you spell it? For arguments here, we'll just put other. Then you can enter all your numbers here. So football, Texas, I think there were 4 of those. New York, I think there was 1 of those, and so on. And you'll keep putting all of your numbers in. Okay, I put in some fake numbers here so that we can do this in Statlet. If you are using a calculator like we have at school, you're going to use matrix. So you're going to get to your edit matrix in your calculator. And the same numbers you would put in just like I have here. In Statlet though, begin analysis. This is kind of nice. It gives you the graph. So remember that you need to turn in the two-way table and the graph. You can just take screenshots of this if you're using Statlet. Screenshots are really nice, and copy and paste those into Canvas or onto a Google Doc. And you'll need them for your video as well, but you're going to turn in your data. That's how we'll know that you gathered the data. There's the summary statistics, blah, blah, blah. And next week, we'll perform the inference on that. So this week, you are gathering your data, you are organizing and analyzing that data, and getting that into the assignment in Canvas. Again, make sure that you have read all the instructions so that you're meeting all the requirements. Email your teacher if you have any questions, and I will see you next time.